Imagine the most advanced stealth fighter in the sky. Now imagine it coming back smarter and deadlier. For over a decade, the F-35 Lightning II has been the backbone of modern air power, a stealth jet that can see without being seen, link entire armies through data, and strike from beyond the horizon. But the world it was built for has changed. The next decade belongs to artificial intelligence, hypersonic weapons, and radar systems that see deeper than ever before. And the F-35, once untouchable, has reached a crossroads. Now it's evolving. Through a wave of new upgrades, the F-35 is stepping beyond its generation. A 5th Gen Plus machine that blends today's proven stealth with tomorrow's digital warfare. When the F-35 was conceived, the world's biggest threats came from radar-guided missiles and dense ground defenses. Stealth and precision were the answers. But the battle space of the 2020s is different, faster and far more connected. China's radar coverage now stretches across the South China Sea. Russia's long-range S-500 missiles can track aircraft at extreme altitudes. Even smaller nations are fielding cheap, distributed sensors that can triangulate stealth aircraft from multiple angles. The F-35's early edge, invisibility, was never going to last forever. What would keep it relevant was its capacity to evolve. And that's exactly what Lockheed Martin engineered into its DNA. An airframe flexible enough to host continuous generations of new technology. The upgrade cycle now underway is the most ambitious yet, effectively creating a new aircraft within the same skin. Every evolution begins with intelligence. For the F-35, that intelligence comes from its upgraded computing core, Technology Refresh 3, or TR3. The original F-35 computers were already powerful enough to manage thousands of sensor inputs per second. But TR3 replaces them with processors roughly 25 times faster, with far greater memory bandwidth and energy efficiency. That leap doesn't just make the jet smarter, it unlocks entirely new possibilities. It can now run real-time AI algorithms, handle larger radar maps, and fuse live data from satellites, AWACS aircraft, and ground sensors into one picture without delay. To the pilot, it feels like having a digital intelligence officer on board. One who never sleeps, never misses a signal, and can predict threats before they're seen. This computing overhaul also lays the foundation for Block 4, the largest software upgrade in the aircraft's history. Block 4 will expand everything: radar modes, electronic warfare tools, and compatibility with dozens of new weapons still in development. In essence, the F-35's mind is being rewritten to think faster, fight smarter, and adapt instantly to the battlefield it enters. The F-35 was the first fighter to turn sensor data into a unified panoramic image of the war zone. Its distributed aperture system gives the pilot a 360-degree real-time infrared view. Its radar can map terrain and track targets through clouds. But the next generation of sensor fusion goes further. Using TR3's new processing muscle, the aircraft can merge external data sources in real time, linking to satellites, ground radars, and drones. That means a pilot over the Pacific could see a missile launch detected by a destroyer hundreds of miles away, seconds before anyone else. The aircraft becomes not just a shooter, but a network hub, one that extends situational awareness across entire theaters of operation. And with AI filtering the flood of information, the pilot sees only what matters: threats prioritized, targets highlighted, and safe corridors calculated automatically. This isn't just better vision, it's cognitive dominance. To most people, stealth means radar invisibility. But true stealth is a full-spectrum art: radar, heat, sound, even electromagnetic emissions. The F-35's new upgrades focus on reducing all of them. Engineers have refined its panel seams and redesigned fasteners to reflect radar away from modern multi-band systems. New coatings minimize infrared glow from engine heat, while internal airflow management cools key surfaces to blur its thermal trail. The aircraft's antenna emissions, radio signals that could betray its presence, are now controlled dynamically, allowing it to communicate without being easily located. The result isn't total invisibility. Nothing is. But unpredictability. A jet that shifts its signature like a chameleon, changing how it appears across different frequencies as it maneuvers. Even advanced radars may spot it, but not long enough to target it. The next great leap is under the skin, a new adaptive cycle engine that could redefine range and performance. Traditional jet engines work in one of two modes: high thrust or high efficiency. Adaptive engines like the XA-100 developed for the F-35 can switch between both. In cruise mode, the engine behaves like a high bypass turbofan, stretching range by over 25%. When combat begins, internal geometry shifts, airflow reconfigures, and it transforms into a pure fighter engine, delivering up to 20% more thrust. That adaptability means fewer refueling tankers, longer mission reach, and greater survivability. It also runs cooler, reducing the aircraft's infrared signature and easing thermal stress on sensitive electronics. For a fighter operating thousands of miles from friendly bases, that's a revolution. Upgrading the jet's mind and engine means nothing if its bite doesn't evolve. That's why Block 4 expands the F-35's weapon compatibility from roughly a dozen to over 30 options. It will be able to deploy the AIM-260 Joint Advanced Tactical Missile, a next-gen air-to-air weapon designed to outrange China's PL-15. It can carry long-range anti-radiation missiles to hunt enemy radar systems. Future variants may even integrate compact directed energy pods capable of disabling drones or sensors silently. The weapons bay itself is being re-engineered to accommodate larger payloads, while software updates refine targeting algorithms for multi-target engagements. This evolution turns the F-35 from a surgical strike jet into a flexible arsenal capable of shifting from dogfighting to deep strike missions in the same sortie. Perhaps the most radical change isn't visible at all. It's cognitive. Inside the cockpit, new AI subsystems act as an autonomous co-pilot. They analyze radar patterns, manage jamming systems, and even recommend tactics based on evolving threat behavior. Imagine a pilot flying through contested airspace while hundreds of sensors light up. Instead of toggling through dozens of controls, the AI prioritizes and responds, jamming enemy radar, changing flight paths, or deploying countermeasures automatically. It's human and machine in partnership. The pilot focuses on strategy, the AI handles the chaos. This also lays the groundwork for future optionally piloted missions, where the F-35 could fly unmanned under remote or autonomous control. The F-35 isn't being upgraded to fight alone. Its new networking capabilities let it command a fleet of drones, loyal wingmen that act as scouts, decoys, or missile carriers. These unmanned systems extend the jet's reach far beyond visual range. A single F-35 can send drones ahead to draw radar fire, identify threats, or strike targets too dangerous for manned aircraft. This swarm concept turns one pilot into a battle commander, directing assets across hundreds of miles. The Combat Cloud, a secure digital network linking every F-35 ship and sensor, ensures they all think as one. Information moves at light speed. If one sees the enemy, all see the enemy. It's not just air superiority anymore. It's information superiority, and whoever owns that owns the sky. For years, critics argued the F-35 lacked the range for Pacific operations. Those days are ending. With adaptive engines, improved fuel management, and smart routing algorithms, the upgraded F-35 can now reach targets thousands of miles away without refueling. Forward bases once deemed vulnerable can be bypassed entirely, letting it launch from deep within friendly territory. Its maintenance systems are also being modernized. New onboard diagnostics predict part failures before they happen, and modular components can be swapped rapidly in the field. The goal: keep the jet flying more and waiting less. In modern air combat, readiness is as lethal as range. The F-35 isn't an American secret anymore. It's a shared weapons system spanning more than a dozen allied nations. Each upgrade improves not just one country's fleet, but the entire coalition's strength. Every jet becomes a node in a single, interoperable network. A British F-35 flying from the North Sea can relay sensor data to an American destroyer in the Mediterranean. An Australian F-35 can guide missiles launched from Japanese fighters. That level of integration makes the alliance unpredictable, flexible, and fast. Adversaries can't isolate one region without triggering a coordinated response across multiple continents. The upgraded F-35 isn't just a weapon, it's a unifying force multiplier. Despite all the open information, much about the new F-35 remains classified. Its electronic warfare capabilities, radar cross-section reductions, and data link encryption protocols are all kept under wraps for a reason. Secrecy itself is strategy. By keeping exact details hidden, the US and its allies force potential adversaries to prepare for the unknown. They must assume the F-35 is always more capable than what they see. That uncertainty drives caution. And in deterrence, caution saves lives. Upgrading an aircraft this advanced isn't cheap, but it's far more efficient than starting over. Building a true sixth-generation fighter could cost hundreds of billions and take decades. The F-35 upgrade achieves nearly 80% of that next-gen capability at roughly half the price, all while leveraging an existing global fleet and established logistics chain. It's evolution through efficiency, a smarter, faster way to stay ahead without resetting the board. By the end of this decade, the skies will host a strange mix. Old fighters phased out, new prototypes rising, and the F-35 standing in between, more evolved than anyone expected. It will bridge generations. Stealth refined to invisibility, sensors fused into awareness, AI fused with instinct. The same airframe that debuted in the early 2010s will still be flying in the 2040s, yet it will be almost unrecognizable from within. That's the genius of its design: adaptability. The F-35 was never built to freeze in time. It was built to absorb the future as it arrives. Every generation of air combat has its icon. The F-86 ruled the jet age. The F-15 owned the Cold War, and the F-22 proved that stealth could dominate the sky. Now, the F-35 is crossing a line none of them ever reached. It's becoming a living system, one that learns, upgrades, and evolves long after takeoff. A machine that can think faster, fly farther, and command more firepower than any fighter in history. If you want to keep uncovering the real stories behind the world's most advanced machines, the secrets, the engineering, and the strategy shaping our skies, make sure to subscribe. Because the next breakthrough might already be flying, and when it finally steps out of the shadows, you'll want to be here to see it.